The element of surprise. The element of surprise. The sharpest weapon in war. War, sport, life, dare we distinguish? That poor man never stood a chance. Me, too cute, too unassuming. 20 years later, a woman backed up a quarter mile along Route 90, her car hugging the shoulder, answering the wish of my outstretched thumb. "I don't stop for hitchhikers," she said, "but I realized you were harmless." She didn't know how much work that had taken or how much remained. Appearances deceive. I hadn't yet learned to take what she said as an insult, or that safety doesn't exist without danger. That poor man wasn't poor. He was a target, a screen. Me, all instinct, a honed bullet of assassination efficiency, trained in our familial school of sniper sarcasm. Plus, I was a prankster, the pump of my mischief, primed by Dad, the drunks, and their practical jokes. Was the spectacle I spearheaded just to get Dad's attention? That poor man wasn't wealthy either. Now, I know that above-ground pools are pseudo-success. Still, he, the fat man, was grand. A pristine Panama hat at the peak, below a mountain of shimmering white suit. He loomed above the crowd, taller than all, wider too. The lit cigar, I smelled him before I saw him. Midsummer, baking sun, the promises of a pool party, luxury, richness, relief, sweet sucor amidst the swelter. Back then, Dad still met people, his decline not yet defined, the ruts of his unraveling not yet deep. He was ascending, rising, fluid. No longer the vapor of, he could really be something, but not frozen either. His eyes, his face, they shone. The alcohol yet to perforate him, making others uncomfortable, unavoidably present to the poison. Sure, the divorce had knocked him down. Living in a mobile home wasn't good, but everyone knew it was temporary. He wasn't out. I loved the place. The blueberry bushes, the rectangular yard where Dad would sometimes play catch with me. We went to bars, but not yet the bar. He was still flowing, unpredictable. There were chances for him, for things to turn out differently. I don't remember who Dad knew at the pool party, who had invited the divorced man with the son on weekends. It wasn't the fat man. He was a stranger to Dad, and he wasn't, nor would he ever be, one of Dad's cronies. Speculation still simmers. That day, I sparked a concoction of curiosity, amusement, surprise, and assuredly, scorn from some. It could have gone badly. So all credit to the fat man and his good nature. Good-natured and a poser. If not poor, certainly nowhere near the American posh he presented. But the murky mix that made that moment contained more than money misdirection. We, the overweight, develop another kind of deception. Layers of clothes covered him, top to toe. Even in that heat, he was vested and tied, wrapped like a gift no one would dare or desire to uncover. When excess fat piles on flesh and bone, we don't want you to see it. We go to great swaths to dress deceivingly, so as much to fool ourselves as you. His particular covering also offered the pretense of wealth. It worked on me. When I climbed the stairs and saw him, a glimmering icon of affluence, the sun's reflection off those yards of white, I was stunned. Stunned into motion. Attack! One of the primeval laws of our primitive species. We tend to castigate, berate, or beat what we do not understand. I'd never done anything like it. Not in this world. Not in the one I knew. Dad's foray into trailer park living was brief. And while his hands were never manicured, he was also no pugilist, at least not in the years I knew him. Our weapons were words. That said, the giant girth of the man standing before me as I stepped onto the deck provoked something more primal in me. The closest I'd come to seeing something like him was on the Beverly Hillbillies. I misread the rules of the game. This game, on this turf, on that feverish day. Everywhere else I went with Dad, I could do no wrong. My imitations of the guys, the gambling boozers, my father's friends, their razzing, roasting, teasing, it was in fun, right? Friends, not foes, right? My mimicking of their mutual mockery always aroused amusement. Got me attention, admiration, inclusion, a seat at the table, at the bar. On that flaming day, I don't know what possessed me. Not a religious gathering, nary a guest would have pondered the possibility of that kind of possession. Though certainly many spoke the tongues of, what got into that boy? A better question, what was coming out of that kid? I hadn't yet learned the practices of numbing. Food was still fun, and I was decades away from drugs. As soon as my first foot landed on that 6 feet above the earth decking, I was horizontal. My family was ferocious in our ability to assuage personal pain vertically. Put it in the mouth, ice cream or vodka, and something like soothing followed. The other direction worked too. It was acceptable to feel a pang, the hurt of home, and project it like vomit so long as it was packaged in humor. Eventually, I would get so good at that, I would need sarcasm rehab. One day, I'd become a harmless hitchhiker, or seem like one. A kaleidoscope produces infinite constellations of balanced beauty. The universe we inhabit and are creating is always even, symmetrical. The collision of my hands with the squish of that man's belly, could have doubled him over, folded him in upon himself, like what I learned to do thousands of times in yoga, the forward bend that lengthens the back. Or my hands could have simply disappeared, been absorbed into the fleshy rolls, invisibly obvious below the screaming white cloth. Perhaps priests wear black to repel the projections of the parishioners, to isolate their holiness from the mundane. What possessed that kid? No warning. I didn't get any either. 1 minute, wide-eyed wonder. After all, it was my first time seeing a pool in person, even a pauper's pool. There was so much to take in. The next moment, devilish drive. I puzzle on it too. What did get into me? Beyond that, why did he comply? He must have been at least 5 times my weight, and yet he didn't double over, nor did my digits disappear into the marshmallow of his midsection. He could have been immovable. All in an instant, that tower toppled, like a tree chopped at its base, and with not enough time for anyone to yell, "Timber!" What had stood tall traced a tremendous arc until horizontal and saturated became one. All eyes were on him as he found his footing. Chest, shoulders, and head soggily visible above the wet blue horizon. Time and space resumed around us, the air singing with the varied vibrations of, "Oh my God, are you okay? What happened?" Some laughs, some gasps. The spell was broken. Krishna started time again, and Arjuna knew he would have to live out his duty. Likewise, I would fulfill mine. I would learn to overfill my own skin bag too. I would learn to live in the prison of appropriate. But not yet. Even now, it shocks me that I got no punishment. That's the parents' job. The partiers were not responsible. Neither was Dad. He spoke no praise, though the corners of his lips conveyed pride. Only Mom offered reprimand, and even hers lacked conviction. I doubt Dad told me not to tell her. The party had gone on, after all. Eventually, discomfort disappeared, drowned in the spirits. The element of surprise may indeed be the most successful stratagem. All's fair in war, sport, and life too. Surprises are quick-lived. The results ratify the road taken to get them. Splashes subside while waves go on forever. The pool's skin still pulsed. The mass of the man churning the chlorinated tide. For another moment, I looked down at the fat man whose cigar was gone, the Panama hat, once white, now gray, lurching against the edge of the pool below my feet, vainly struggling to still itself as the sea around it still surged. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.